All right, to this a suggestion via a channel member. The name of the video is 9 Weird Things Okay in Vietnam. Totally illegal in America, meaning the United States of America, guys. Let's go and check it out. Let's jump into it.
Imagine you're just walking the streets, taking in the sights, and all of a sudden, a motorbike zips by you, treating the sidewalk as an extension of the street. Welcome to Vietnam.
I would be absolutely astonished.
Where the
Call the
laws are
police.
not just different, but they take it to a whole other level. Now we know that you love our video about the 10 crazy things in Vietnam that you won't find in the US. Thank you so much for making it a hit. Today, we're actually gonna do the reverse of that. We're gonna do 9 weird things that are okay in Vietnam, but not okay in the US. So make sure you stay around because either you'll be entertained, surprised, or maybe a little bit envious. So
I will say though, I love Vietnam. Vietnam country is beautiful, guys. The food is generally really, really good. The people are normally nice also. But let's continue.
let's get started.
Where we at? Ho Chi Minh? Guys, this is the name of the channel here. Let's go.
Ken Young, international and business immigration attorney, living in the United States for 30 years and living here in Vietnam for over 10 years now. Being a US attorney and having attorneys here in Vietnam, I've seen a lot of weird laws and seen a lot of weird stuff. So today, we're actually gonna talk to you about 9 of the weird laws that are okay in Vietnam, but not in the United States. Let's kick it off with something you've never seen in the United States. Barbers cutting hair right on the sidewalk. In Vietnam, you don't need a fancy salon or a business license to start snipping. All you need is a chair, clippers, a mirror, and boom, you've got yourself a barber shop. These barbers are an institution, offering quick, affordable haircuts that cost less than a Starbucks latte.
Yeah, unfortunately, in the United States of America, for some reason, barbers have just completely overshot their actual, value at times. Okay, haircuts can cost up to $1,000 these days, guys. We have a problem, but either way,
Institution, offering quick, affordable haircuts that cost
overhead.
less than a Starbucks latte. Honestly, it's quite genius. In the US though, this would put health inspectors in a frenzy.
Yes, it would.
You would need permits, sanitation standards, and it'll probably take 4 weeks before you can open up your barbershop. But in Vietnam, it's all about efficiency. Sure, it's not spa level hygiene, but you can have a great story and a decent haircut for just $2. So totally worth it. So imagine just sitting in the park, taking in the scenery, and just popping up a cold beer for a drink. That is a perfectly normal afternoon in Vietnam. In the US, due to open container laws, you can't drink in public. Thus, most people put their beers inside a brown paper bag, like
Right.
a
I always found that absolutely crazy.
80s sitcom. In Vietnam, drink responsibly, but enjoy your life. Honestly, it's quite refreshing.
Yeah, guys, definitely the same thing for me in Spain, right? I mean, I go to McDonald's and order like a Big Mac with some French fries and a cold beer on the side, guys, in the drive-thru.
Both the beer and the attitude. But don't let the drinking freedom fool you. Drinking in public is chill, but littering is not. So Vietnam does have its limits.
That's crazy because I experienced Ho Chi Minh specifically as pretty dirty, guys, in terms of everyone littering. But I respect that. there's a
So
law
let's say
against
from all
it.
that public drinking, you have a
But look behind him.
nasty hangover, or you get a bug from all of that adventurous street food. In Vietnam, you do not have to suffer in silence. Just head over to your local pharmacy where all the magic happens. Pharmacies in Vietnam are like a local neighborhood doctor. Got a headache? Pop in for an ibuprofen. Need antibiotics for your sore throat? No need a prescription. You can also get anti-anxiety meds, sleeping pills, and you guessed it, Viagra without a prescription.
I didn't
Yes,
guess
Viagra.
that-
In Vietnam, it's as
one.
easy to get as a pack of gum. No awkward conversations, no paperwork. You just have to walk in and ask. So why
Okay.
is this? It boils down to accessibility. Most people in the rural area don't have the time, money, or resources to go visit a doctor for minor ailments. Pharmacies fill the gap as local healthcare providers. It is a system born out of necessity, practical
better
and
system.
efficient, but not without its risks. Meanwhile, in the US, you better have a prescription and probably insurance if you want anything stronger than ibuprofen. Here, it's fast, cheap, and oddly empowering.
What's funny about what he just said here is that I would say that's probably the norm internationally. United States of America and like Pakistan are the weird ones.
Say you're feeling better and you go on to the next challenge, finding a job. In Vietnam, job ads come with a twist. They might tell you you're too old or the wrong gender, so do not even bother to apply. Job ads in Vietnam would look like wanted, female, under 30, single, attractive, and Vietnamese. Okay. This is not just actually legal, it's normal. In the US, this would spark lawsuits faster than you can say discrimination. In Vietnam, this is just how businesses operate.
I mean, you're basically in a homogenous society. I mean, when those things exist, you tend to, in those type of situations and scenarios, let's say, all right, you will experience a lot more of that. Absolutely. If you do enter into a homogenous society, specifically not, expressly, let's say mixed up.
The logic, employers know exactly what they want and they're not shy about saying it. So why is this happening? For one, Vietnam is a rapidly developing country of many small and family-owned businesses. Employers prioritize cultural fit and efficiency over formalities. Then there's a traditional mindset where certain jobs like sales assistant or receptionist, where the job is based on youth, appearance, and gender. So it's just the legal frameworks around anti-discrimination laws are not as well developed in Vietnam as countries like the United States. And let's face it,
melting pot versus not a melting pot.
Social norms around these things are catching up. Times are changing and the younger workforce is pushing back.
What year did this video come out?
So who knows? The job ads in a decade may look totally different. By the way, if you're thinking about working in Vietnam, starting a business, or getting a work permit, we'll be happy to guide you through the process. Now, accessibility is not just about elevators and ramps. It's about whether people can fully access public life. In Vietnam, accessibility is a big challenge. Sidewalks is practically an obstacle course. Buildings, they are full of steep staircases, no handrails, and ramps that are so poorly designed, they might as well be slides. Meanwhile, in the US, accessibility is taken very seriously. Thanks to the American with Disabilities Act, public places are legally required to accommodate people with disabilities. Think elevators, wide doorways, and proper ramps. Sure, it's not perfect, but it's light years ahead. And here's the thing, it's 2025, and Vietnam frankly does not have a comprehensive accessibility law. And that is inexcusable. Accessibility is not a luxury, it's a right. Let's be real here. One day we will all have reduced mobility, either from age, injuries, or just our body catching up to us. And at that time, we will all need to have accessibility for everyone. Part of the problem is, one, no law. Two, the cost. Retrofitting or upgrading old buildings is very, very expensive. The bigger issue, awareness. Accessibility isn't an urgent issue until you can't climb the stairs or walk across the street. In the US, accessibility is a baseline expectation. In Vietnam, it's a distant goal. Until this changes, millions of people will not have access to public spaces. I may not be able to access all the streets.
Bro, did you trip on I think you tripped on purpose, bro.
But you can.
To prove the point.
And 80% of you are not subscribed to our YouTube channel, but access to our channel is very easy. Takes 2 seconds and it's free. So all you have to do is click on the subscribe button and it'll help us get to 100,000 someday. Thank you very much. All right, let's lighten the mood and time for some relaxation. Vietnam is a spa lover's paradise. Massages, facials, full massages, and anything related to spas. You can see them all over the street. Some of them are questionable and at a fraction of the cost in the United States. Technically, in Vietnam, you have to have a license in order to run a spa. But you can walk down any one of these streets and you see countless spas that are probably not following the rules. So, not all therapists are professionally trained. Some are skilled, And others, they're actually learning as they go on your back. Ever had a massage that you left more hurt than when you first came in? Well, that's the risk. And let's just say not all massages here are standard. Some, they're a little bit more adventurous than your average back rub.
Guys.
In the US, the spa industry is heavily regulated. The technicians are certified, and the spa itself has to meet sanitary hygiene standards. Sure, you're paying 10 times more than you would in Vietnam, but at least you're getting professional services. For $5, you
So basically less than you would in Vietnam.
But at least you're getting professional services. For $5, you might walk out feeling like royalty.
This man is hilarious.
Or feeling like you need another massage just to fix the first massage. Now, let's talk about something a little bit more emotional. Imagine carrying a baby for another. That's surrogacy. In the US, surrogacy is a legal roller coaster. Some states are all in, even allowing for paid arrangements. Other states have a full ban or limited allowance of surrogacy. Basically, if you're thinking about doing surrogacy in the United States, your first step is to get a lawyer. And your second step is probably to get another lawyer. Now, Vietnam takes a different approach. Surrogacy is legal everywhere in Vietnam. Of course, there are conditions imposed. First, there has to be a married couple that cannot conceive naturally. Two, it has to be with a close relative, such as a sister or a cousin. Oh, and she can only do it once in her life. Speaking of rules and regulations, if you visited Vietnam or lived here as a foreigner, you probably faced it. Double pricing.
Oh my God, Hanoi.
Or what I like to call it, the foreigner tax.
Yep.
A local may pay $1 to visit a museum, but a foreigner will pay $15.
And you know what I have done? I have walked out of the establishment, bro. Listen, I mean, I get it to a certain extent. But if you do it in front of my face, I generally am going to feel disgusted by it and not want to come back to your establishment or your country. Most likely, hence the reason why I have only been to Vietnam once. I experienced a good amount of the country, okay? But I think that this is definitely worse in Hanoi. Definitely worse in Hanoi, guys. Listen, I'm sorry. I'm coming from a country, you see my passport, you're just like, we're going to charge him $55 for something we're charging someone else 50 cents.
And guess what? It's actually legal. And it's not always so subtle either.
Not.
Some places list two prices, one in Vietnamese and one in English, just in case you didn't notice. In the US, this kind of pricing would be considered discriminatory. This is based on whether you're a local resident or not, and not based on your citizenship. It's illegal, at least in most cases. Now, before you bring out your pitchforks, remember, other countries also have tourist prices. Also, in the US, out-of-state tuition is almost double in-state tuition.
I knew you were going to bring up that.
And that is considered double pricing. If you are looking to...
Yeah, but that's one specific thing, though, bro. In Hanoi, it's everything. And this is why I would not go back. Exclusively because of that. Are other countries guilty of this? Yeah.
Stay long-term in Vietnam and you are of Vietnamese descent so that you can enjoy all the local benefits. Our team of legal experts will be happy to assess whether you can get the Vietnamese citizenship. So don't be shy to contact us. All right, let's address the elephant, or should I say dog, in the room. This next point is not for the faint of heart. But it's part of the cultural understanding and the evolution of Vietnam. Dog meat.
Okay, yes, guys. So someone asked me one time, right? I mentioned that I had consumed an animal. Generally, that's not considered normal in the United States of America. I have eaten all types of craziness outside of the United States of America. And what I mean by crazy, it's only crazy because we're coming from the United States of America. I have, in fact, consumed this. I'm not sure that I knew exactly what was going on at the time that I did, or I probably would have been like, is there something else that we could be eating? It was delicious.
In parts of Vietnam, it is still legal to eat dog, and many think it's a delicacy. It's a practice that is deeply rooted in Vietnamese tradition, and it is a belief that eating dog will bring many
That's not the dog they're eating, bro. Just from the beginning here, okay? I'm almost it's not like that. I think it has like short hair, but that's the reality. And I can give you the exact. I want to give you my excuse before you guys clip this and put it all over the internet. Here's the thing, okay? So I'm a photographer by trade, and normally at some of these events you have like craft services, meaning that people bring in some like local food and things like that. And while you're shooting, you randomly go eat something off the table, and it was like cured meat or something like that. Like it almost looked like salami, right? But that's what happened here.
People health and fortune. But here's the good news. Attitudes are shifting. Younger generations in big cities like Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh are considering this practice as cruel and outdated. Change is happening. For many of us, eating a dog, which is a friend, family member, and a loyal companion, is unthinkable. In the US, it's not just unthinkable, it's illegal.
Right.
In the US, dog meat is banned all across the country, and even the mention of it could cause outrage, except in Springfield, Ohio.
This man is I love this. Who is he?
Apparently.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat the cat.
No, the copyright. No, bro, listen, don't play any music in your video. We were good so far.
Fascinating place where the law itself and the application of the law are two different things. Remember those motorbikes on the sidewalks?
Yeah.
It's illegal, but they are tolerated. And that's what makes Vietnam so captivating. The quirks, the contradictions, and the many stories to be told. So of those 9 things, which ones do you think were surprising, fascinating, or just plain weird?
To be honest, when it came down to the last one, right, the dog, right, I was hoping you weren't going to mention it, so I didn't have to kind of acknowledge the story. But I'm generally super honest. I've experienced a lot of meat, let's say, from like a lot like that is not generally super acceptable. But when you're in places where things are just considered normal, bro, I mean, you're in a different country, experience the country for what it is. And I have traveled all over the world. I've been to every single continent, guys. So it's just like, listen, you have to live like the local, more like, right? I'm someone who generally doesn't go to gigantic cities consistently, but because the shoot was in Hanoi, I went straight to the larger cities in Vietnam almost exclusively. I didn't do any like small town things, and because my entire team consisted of basically foreigners. What do they do to foreigners, guys? Like we do in the United States of America, you give them all the things that your country's known for. And so we consumed a lot of things like bugs, guys, all types of just like worms. Like it was just, listen, it was all over the place out there, guys, right? It's just a thing. Like in America, we don't eat horse. In Spain, France, they eat horse. You know what I'm saying here? It's like one of these things. It's one of these things. All right. Am I going to eat my family animal? No. Right. If I see it on a menu, am I going to eat it specifically? No. I had a kangaroo burger in Spain, though, in the south of Spain. That was intriguing. There are no kangaroos in Spain, but it was a kangaroo burger. Right? I don't know if we can eat kangaroo in the United States of America. I have no idea, but I didn't eat it in the United States of America, so ha. All right. Listen, I love Vietnam, though. Vietnam is great, definitely. I would definitely say that my only real issue with Vietnam would probably have been, as he kind of pointed out, the double taxing thing. I do know that we do have that in the United States of America, but it's one individual like use case, guys. It is just the education, right? Out of state education. It's really just that. But unfortunately, it's everything. It feels like everything in Hanoi. Everything. Bro, taxis, street food, vendors, any type of event or anything. It's almost like the only intelligent thing to do there is which we ended up doing basically 1 week into it after wasting a lot of money, is just exclusively hiring kind of like a fixer, right? Like someone who's a local. You pay him a daily rate or whatever the average person is making in a day. Locally, you pay them that because converting it is a lot easier for us, let's say, on our pockets, right? So we pay them a day rate, whatever it is, and you're the person who calls everywhere. You're the person who go gets the food. You're the person who books and prepays for the taxi services, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There are ways around all that double tax, foreigner tax nonsense that happens. And it'll literally be cheaper giving somebody like $10 a day, $20 a day, just to make phone calls and book things for us exclusively. Like, do not go to some places unless it's already prepaid, or they're going to see you and then make you pay more. The only way to do that is to have a prepaid ticket in some places. I think that's probably the smartest thing to do in a lot of places, honestly. In Spain, where I live half the year, I have never experienced any of these things. So, but I do notice South Asia, East Asia, North Asia, Mongolia, like there's a lot of, I know in some of the South Pacific islands, like Malaysia, I've realized that the foreigner tax was a thing there. And I've experienced it mostly in Asia. And almost 100% in Africa, but not specifically North Africa, just more like the sub-Saharan Africa. I've experienced it, but not South Africa. But either way, guys, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Guys, travel the world, please. I beg of you. See things. All right, it is important. It will completely change whatever you think is normal. Let's say in your life, you're probably wrong about everything. Okay, just gonna be honest here. You're probably think about something you think you're right about. Anything, doesn't matter what it is. You're probably wrong. Okay, see the world, then come back to the United States of America and be like, yeah, I was wrong. Like that thing does not matter at all. But why do I care so much about it? Because the American media tells you need to care about it. That's why. The American media is really good at being the American media. Let's say that. They're really good at just propaganda and nonsense and getting you to hate your neighbor type of thing. I'm telling you, whatever you think you're right about, you're probably wrong. Go see the world, come back and be like, yeah. Why did I care about that? I don't know why you cared about it. You asking me? I'll catch you guys later. This is my lightsaber. Hey guys, you guys subscribe to the other channels? Logical Movie Reviews with Mr. L. Boyd, along with Mr. L. Boyd Music. Oh, also, Mr. L. Boyd Discusses. Guys, check it out. And if you haven't heard it today, you're amazing.